Okay, I'm calling this meeting of the RTM the RTM Rules Technology Subcommittee meeting. It is 11:04 on Saturday, February 20th. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see everybody. And actually, the truth is, I was really trying hard not to have a meeting today, just because it would. But by midweek, it was very clear that we all needed to be on the same page in order to be prepped for tomorrow, for Monday's RTM meeting. So the bottom line, one of the goals, and I'm sure others will come up as we go along, is for a lot of us that have been in the details to get out of the details, make sure that we can summarize where we are and make sure it makes sense and find any other holes that are in there. So that's where the varying levels and varying roles we've all played on this. That's where we can all add things, because the goal of this is to make sure we've got our act together when we go to the RTM on Monday night. Okay.
Essentially, what we found out is it was happenstance that some people's numbers before their name worked in GoToWebinar that also worked in GoToMeeting, that the two apps are not connected at all. And it depends on, and sometimes it'll GoToWebinar will remember your name, and sometimes it won't if you changed your browser. It was not just the device, it was also the browser input. So there are a myriad of interlocking that there's just no consistency between the two applications other than the same name and the same ownership. So
the browser, Mike, does it have to do with the cache, whether or not it's cached?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, right. So it wasn't just a device, it was the browsers and and so 100 people with 3 browsers and 7 devices, the permutations got too big.
Yep.
So the good news is for the standing committees that have already gone through it, the committee chairs will know what district their members are in when they have a GoToMeeting. But for GoToWebinar, tomorrow, hopefully we'll get everybody to be able to do it as they arrive at the meeting. And
one more piece of that is, if when you register appropriately and put your district and then a blank in your name. And sometimes you get to register with blank information. When you click on, Lisa sends out here's the link, and it gives you a registration. Sometimes it doesn't give you a registration. Sometimes it gives you a registration that's blank, and sometimes it gives you a registration that's already filled in. So there's a whole nother set of criteria. And we figured out how to get around it, but that's too painful. So we're just going with the flow, and we're gonna follow up with anybody who isn't there and do the best we can.
Just have your names of RTM members handy to check it off on the list.
So in line with that, Mike, what I just did, because we can print out the lists that are on the web, and that gives you by district the alphabetical list. What I just created, and I'll send to everybody afterwards, is a master alphabetical list by last name, and it shows the district that they're in. So should we see in the meeting, should we see somebody's name, we can look at their last name, which won't have variations like the first name can. We will see the last name, and we can look at what district they're in. So we'll know, or we can tell Kate or whatever we need to do, or we can verify that they're on the RTM rather than having to scan 6 lists. So that's the point of doing that. But I honor what Mike said was, don't send me too many versions because I'll get confused and then I won't know which version I'm using, a way to look at the list. So my suggestion is print out the ones that are on the town website, which shows you alphabetically within district. And I will send you another one that's total alphabetical, and it also shows you what district they're in. Whether or not you need to use it, I see the look on your face, Mark. Whether or not you need to use it.
What list are you referring to on the website? I'm there. Are we talking about all RTM members? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the RTM members by district.
I'm going there now. Okay.
I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to eventually do that anyway. So here's.
Cecil did find the box to check so that as attendees, we're going to be able to see all the other attendees.
Yeah, we got that. We almost lost that one too in the process. Anyway, so the bottom line is that GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar are 2 different pieces of software owned by the same company. The app overlaps for, I think, for handheld, for our phones, but there are different apps in different environments, PC, Mac, and whether or not you're using an app or not using an app. But this is the list. You can see my screen, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna send you, and we'll decide later who's gonna need to use it or not. That's not, I just wanted everybody to have it. That's why I did it. Okay, so if you're looking up somebody, you can figure out what district they're in. And it's by last name, because that way they're not, they don't, we don't have to worry about nicknames or whatever, okay?
Will they be listed on the attendee list, first name, or last name, first name?
First name, last name, and since the first name is supposed to have a number in front of it, it'll, for those that have numbers, it'll show the numbers first and then their first name.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, I'm gonna go back for a minute. Thank you, Monica. That we want to, the prior minutes. That's what because Monica was looking for the minutes. Let me see. I'm gonna wing it here and see if I can make this work. Oh, great. Got me the weather. That isn't what I wanted. Okay, so go here, then we go to government, I think, and agendas and minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we're not seeing what you're doing.
We're still on the attendance page, Lois, on your screen. That's what your screen is showing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm stopping sharing. I'm going to share screen.
You're getting really good at this, girl.
I know. It's scary. Is that working now? Did you get something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two sets there. There's not, all of them aren't there. There's just, that's where I went. There's two sets. So shouldn't there be more? Let me think.
Yes, that was Monica was pointing that out to us. So it's supposed to be under here, and then we go into RTM.
Yeah, and then it's listed under rules.
Yeah. So you're telling me that she doesn't have them out there. I'm going to.
Yeah, you're going a different route, but same place. You're getting to the same place. Yeah, they're not there.
The last one's January.
Well, she hasn't put them up.
So she won't put them up until they're,
Okay.
well, until they're.
Oh, here they
voted.
are. Okay, you're gonna hate me. And it's
Okay,
not me. I didn't do this. But if you
okay,
pick minutes, it shows up just those two. If you go into the next level and pick 2021,
Yeah, there we go.
it shows you them all.
okay. That's weird. Okay, so should we go, Lois, while you're there, can you pull up the ones you want us to vote on so we can read them?
Yep. And they're nice and short.
Good with me.
Which one is that? That's the 13th.
Yes.
I'm never going to object. So
Okay, looks
When they
good.
said I didn't think they were good.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from February 13th, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lois.
And we learned something new too, never hurts. Okay, now let's,
And February 5th was approved, right? It was probably approved then, right?
think so.
Last week we approved the prior week.
And
I
I
think
think that's the one, Monica, you abstained on because you weren't a member of the committee at that point.
Okay, okay, I don't see in that minutes, I don't see
Whoop,
the
let me look.
approval of the,
Let me see. So that was the 13th, right?
yeah.
The one we just approved, now we're going to go back and make a change to it, right?
We're gonna go back and make sure that in there somewhere, the February 5th meetings were approved.
Okay.
If not, we'll add to it.
Okay, so Mark, you'll take care of that, right?
Well, hang on.
So
I'm not
I'm-
following. Which one are we missing?
we're
The
not-
February 5th,
February
So-
5th.
which should have been voted on the February, it should be noted in the February 13th minutes.
Yep.
But I didn't catch that. It could be there, I just didn't see it.
Oh, here,
Yeah, yeah.
there it is. It's there.
Okay, so maybe Okay, I would just make a correction of to add the February 5th minutes.
Oh, instead of saying a motion to approve the minutes, we want to say a motion to approve the February 5th minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I put the date in this one. I could put the date in going forward.
okay. Okay, great.
Okay. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay, good. Mark, just a point of information. My understanding from Seth after much discussion was that when we do executive session, I think you have this already, you say we went to executive session, we came back from executive session and then adjourned. But I think we also, I don't know if he said, if you spoke to him, but I think we need to file something about executive session saying we were in executive session to talk about issues relating to polling or something, or issues relating to security using the software. And that's it. It's a one-line thing for anything that we did executive sessions on.
Yeah, but I have it already in this one, and I think we had it in at least one of the prior.
It was in the
I know we have it in this, but I think there needs to be a separate minutes of the executive session. And all it says is we went into executive session.
Okay,
General topic.
Lois,
Yeah.
Lois, I know that the Board of Selectmen has, if there's an executive session meeting
Mhm.
within a regular meeting, there will be 2 sets of minutes, but I asked Donna and she said we didn't need to do that.
Well,
No.
Seth told me we did.
We did, okay.
Okay.
So we need 2 separate minutes for a meeting where we have executive session.
Right.
One for the regular meeting and one for the executive. Okay,
And the executive session, all it says probably is the time we start, the time we end, and the fact we were in executive session for security issues relating to our software.
exactly,
So it says the same thing the regular minutes say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just on a separate sheet of
Yep.
paper.
Okay.
Clearly.
And no hurry on that. Just amongst the stuff, didn't get a chance to tell you. Okay. Now we're back to, okay. So I want to bring this up if I can find it. That's the agenda. Let me see if I can find. I wrote up that's the name change one. I don't want to do that yet. Here, this is a summary of, I think, where we ended up. Looks very simple. And it may not be right, but my goal was to get where we ended up down on paper, so we've got it, okay? So we're using GoToWebinar in the RTM meeting, and it's a separate program from GoToMeeting. Name changes done in committee meetings in GoToMeeting do not carry across. Do you want me to change that to may not carry across?
do not carry.
Well, actually may, because if you did it on a phone, it will, so
Yeah,
let's
okay.
just do may. Okay, may not carry across. On phone, 2 different apps are loaded for GoToMeeting. Oh, well, I'm not always sure that's true.
Okay, put, after phone, put comma. Otherwise, it looks like it's on your second phone.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I put it in the wrong
Or
place.
maybe, yeah,
Um, 2 different apps may be loaded because I'm not sure. if that's
You would say on your phone or on one's phone or on a mobile device.
on a member's phone.
Because we refer to mobile device. Oh, no, I refer to phones later. All right. So Mike, Mark, you can see how I type now, which is why you have 2 computers running.
If I turn my camera around, I actually have 4. But only 2 we're using today.
Oh my God. On members' phones, 2 different apps may be loaded. For GoToMeeting, oh. For GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar. On computers, 1 app. Oh. Well,
Lois,
okay, not the
Lois.
language. Let's not do that here.
Okay, okay.
The basic point is on the phones, you may or may not have 2 different, I think we have 2 different apps. Was that the conclusion, Mike? We had 2 different apps on a phone?
I think that let me just go into GoToMeeting. I think their app on the phone services the same I have two different apps. I have GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar.
Yep, okay. So on the phone, we have two different apps. On a PC, it can be one app. If you're on a Mac, there's one app for a Mac and one app for the PC. But you can also get to the meeting without loading the app. I said on computers, there's one app, may be different by PC versus Mac, but we're not pursuing that. We gave up on that, okay? The whole point of doing this, just to keep this in mind, and one of the other things I'm going to ask when we get out of this is where I left it with Seth was during the announcements, he's going to I asked him to explain to people why we were redoing what they did in their meetings. And he said he was going to turn the floor over to me in the announcements. So I have to be quick, but concise and apologetic. So at the end of this, I want to go over what should I say on Monday for a very quick synopsis to keep everybody involved with us, okay? But the purpose of what we're doing this is to allow us to use polling for voting, which will save recall time. Well, the point is so that we can avoid doing roll call votes, and as well as helping town hall manage their reporting and stuff like that by having the information by district. That's it in a nutshell, okay? So this is about the names. I'm back in my document now. Names are entered when registering for a meeting. People should enter district number plus the space before their first name. The issues involved with this are not everyone sees this request, and if one signs in with the same email, changes to the first name don't show up. And I have nothing in here about browsers, Mike, because we didn't really examine them. But then you would get a brand new email. You'd probably get a blank registration screen, I assume, which is easy to solve. If we change the email address, then the name change shows up. But we're not going to ask people to do that. We just figured that out. So this is device dependent, i.e. if one registers on a different device, one gets to fill out the form again and can use the correct name.
And it's also browser dependent, is what Hector told me yesterday. It's browser dependent too. He actually told me that when you go in on your computer, the app is automatically downloaded. So the second time someone goes in on the computer, the GoToWebinar app is on their computer. It automatically downloads.
Not mine.
Does it?
Nope. It's probably, I think it's true on a Mac. I do not think that's true on a PC. In fact, I'm sure it's true on a Mac because I never downloaded it, but it's there. Okay. If one registers on a different device and browser dependent, if one registers on a different device or browser, one gets to fill out the form again and you can use the correct name. So that's the thing. And the other thing is, and it's not stated here, but the other thing is if you, here it's, okay. And then in a meeting, ability to change names. Names are initially established when we register for a meeting. Once in the meeting, and one can change the name, then I have this chart. If you're on an iPhone, you use an app, you can change the name and the name will hold for the new meeting, for a next meeting, okay?
We think. We hope.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're on an Android phone, you can use it uses the app, it can change the name and it'll hold for the next meeting. If you're on a Mac, we think it automatically downloads the app. That's my thought. Then yes, it uses the app, you can change your name and it'll hold for the next meeting. I'm going to skip the Mac no app because I don't think that's applicable. I think the app automatically gets downloaded on a Mac. PC with an app, yes, you can. You can use the app, you can change your name. We're not sure about whether it's going to hold for the next meeting because we haven't tested that. So that's something Mike Cecil can test because he uses a PC with an app, okay? And the PC no app doesn't use an app. You cannot change your name and therefore the next one is mute. If you come in on a landline, doesn't use an app, you can't change your name and it doesn't hold for the next meeting. So, which led us to this is the end of what I documented, which led us to the survey. So Mike, you want to take over?
The survey, other than I knew from experience that you could only do 4 responses, but then I forgot that I had to create I broke everybody into essentially groups of 25, but I needed to copy the survey so that each of that 25 group got a different URL. Instead, they all got the same URL, which means I got cut off at 40, and they charge $100 a month to get the other 60 responses. But we just bring up SurveyMonkey, but we had the 40 responses in an hour, and the result, I was watching them as they came in, and it was pretty steady, but essentially about 38 to 39%. So far, 70 have responded, but essentially, cancel. The Mac is, and the average person has 1.7 devices. 55% are Mac, 38% are PC, 38% are iPhone, 30% are iPad, 8% are Android, 2% is another tablet, and 2% are landline, which was one person.
Mike, can you go through that again? 58% are Mac?
Yeah, the Mac is 55%, PC is 38%, same as the iPhone, 38%. The iPad is 30%, and the Android.
Wait, you're way over 100% though.
That's
I
because
know the average person.
Oh, because you have 1.7.
you could-
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Lois thought it'd be better to ask what devices do you own rather than what devices might you use, as opposed to what device do you use?
Okay.
Because the person may say, I use more than one, which is
Right.
true. I've used at least two different devices going into full RTM meetings. And so the other tablet market in the online is, one person.
So
40.
the
40
iPad was 30%.
Yeah, 40%. It's a representative sample. The numbers would not change that much with the rest of the responses.
So this is off of 40 people or
Yes.
70?
No, 40.
Okay.
So after the iPad, there was another.
I can share my screen if you want.
Yeah, that might be easier. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get.
Wait, no, I have to make you a host.
Yeah, I guess got to get the SurveyMonkey.
I remember this. Okay, Mike, you're good to go.
All right.
Oh, look at that. Pretty graph.
Show it in two different ways. Which way do you want to look at it? The percentages, or you want to look at the pretty graph?
The graph is nice.
Yes.
So
the Mac is fine because you can change it on the Mac, and there's only one app and it's independent, and the odds are probably pretty high that those that were using a Mac in the committee meetings will probably be fine into this. Okay. The iPhone is fine and the iPad are fine for anyone we've addressed, anyone that's done it already. So the real issue are those that are using a PC. And
what percentage is that, Mike, of PC?
38%.
Okay.
but they might be using their iPhone. I mean, they have a PC, but they might be using their iPhone. So we really don't know what is going to actually happen in the meeting. And anyway, so that's what we got, which was informative. I think since 3 out of the 4 things are doable, either through, all of them are doable through registration. 3 out of 4 are doable either in the committee meetings or with the pre-screen that we're going to do, and we'll show you that in a minute.
So
The
you're
only
done,
one,
you're done with the stop share. You got it. You need to
okay.
send,
Yeah. So I'll go back to share, but then I'll have to find where I'm sharing. I want to share this document. So this is what we've come up with. Uh-oh, is it? I'm done with this. Okay, so here's the document. The thought is, so I guess I should backtrack to our thinking before we go over the detail of this. Is the thinking is we will send something out on Monday afternoon, letting people know in some language, and we have yet to do that, to encourage people to get onto the meeting early. We're hoping that we can do it at 7:30. That either, and that depends on what. If Cecil can, if we can get somebody from Kate's office to start the meeting early, then if not, we have to wait till 7:45 when Kate gets done with the Board of Selectmen meeting and can come on. But to very quickly get people to sign, to check their names and fix it if it needs to be checked. Cecil will be available. We'll all be on, but Cecil will be available to respond because he can, he can talk to people. Well, we've yet to figure that out. We'll figure out the details of it. But basically, open the meeting early, let people take a look at their names, have something on the screen, which are this page rotating with this page, which is how to change your name if you want to, and answer people's questions. We can also go on and for names we see that need to be changed, we can have Cecil contact them, or one of us can contact them, but that's a different discussion. So let's now talk about how you change the names. Is that, so you can see what this document is and how it works, okay? So if the name change, do you want me to read it or do you want to look at it yourselves?
We can just look at it.
You could just look at it. Hey, Mike, I'm looking at the name change for PC. Now, I've not actually used the PC before, although I'm on one right now. That up, is that the up arrow or is that the caret? What is that symbol? Is that the caret?
it's the up. This is the one that the guy in Guatemala City made up for me. So if you can scroll down a little bit, he's drawn an arrow to the caret.
It's a caret.
A carrot. I don't know. I can't see it. Is it a carrot like an orange thing?
No, it's a caret like an arrow, like
Like an arrow.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
half of a diamond, the top half
Yeah.
of it.
Okay.
That's interesting. So that shows up in the taskbar
Yes.
when you're in the program, I guess, because
Yeah.
Yeah, he went in and we did. He mocked up because he had a couple of associates. He replicated a GoToWebinar with two of his colleagues to get these screenshots.
oh boy.
Yeah, ours doesn't show the go to training. Ours just shows go to meeting and go to webinar when we do it.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
My statement about the PC is hands off and talk to one of us. I mean, the problem is you got to do it the problem with this is you got to do it when you're in GoToWebinar, and none of us have a license to do GoToWebinar. So anytime we wanted to play around with this, we had to get Cecil involved.
That should be the first sentence.
Okay.
Because
so-
I immediately, I was reading these directions and the trap I fell into is I started looking for the caret. I see the caret. But the first sentence should be, you have to be in GoToWebinar.
Oh, well, that's
Maybe-
true.
Maybe that's obvious, but
No, actually, it's not true on everything. I think it's just true for the PC, right, Mike?
The other ones you can do as you're entering the meeting, but this one you have to be in the meeting.
so maybe make that clarification. 'Cause I was getting ready to go and set it now just to be done with it. And you can't do it until you're in the meeting. So
Do you have a PC?
Yeah. Do I have a P? Yeah. Well, yeah. I have every device you've listed.
So go to webinar on your PC and see if you can change your name.
Yeah, let me see if I have GoToWebinar on this one, because I don't think I've used it yet. Well, let's go. Bear with me.
Well, it also depends on how you registered for your meeting.
Yeah, I've not used it. on this PC. So this will be the first time probably.
But then it may ask, well, then it depends on your registration, Mark.
Let's see what it says. All right. So it says join or host are my two choices.
So you're joining.
Joining, let's see what it asks.
Catch the
Do you want to share your screen, Mark?
changes.
Well, I can't because I'm on a different PC.
Okay,
Well, I'm on a PC. But,
okay. I'll leave you alone.
okay, so it's looking for me to put in a webinar ID. Because I said join.
So what you would normally do if you would probably have done is be in, take it either off your email and have the webinar link. And you
Yeah.
would click that on your PC,
It would
which
bring
would
me in.
bounce you to the webinar.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I find one.
Actually, it would ask you, hopefully it would ask you to register. And if you register, your first name becomes, whatever, 3 Mark.
Yes, let me search my computer. Bear with me a moment. I'll text
No, it's
it.
fine. It's fine. The more we understand, the less confusion there'll be for some people.
See that in the first sentence on name change to a PC of changes rather than changes.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into an old one. Let's just see what happens.
Thanks, Mike. Oh, so Monica, there's the symbol. You can see what I'm circling on the screen.
Okay, yep,
It's called a carrot, in case you run across it in other kinds of,
yeah.
and I think that's how they rate diamonds too. I think it's spelled the same way. Just in case you were interested.
Hey, my mind didn't go there at all. Interesting.
Oh, that's why I said that. Actually, it's not from diamonds. It's actually from the word text thing I do online.
Yeah, I'm looking for an old GoToWebinar link to click on.
Well, you can use the new one, the thing from Lisa
Oh,
The-
from Lisa. Oh, there we go.
for Monday's RTM meeting. The meeting hasn't
There.
started, but it's still a link.
So it's in the warning. So let's see what it does.
I'm expecting it'll ask you to register, and then you can put it in correctly, and then you don't have a problem.
We're gonna know in a second.
So Lois, that
Yes.
symbol and carrot are the same thing, right?
Yeah,
No, are they?
yeah. That this
Okay.
when I say the carrot symbol, yeah.
Oh, okay, so I maybe stick with one
Take this.
term.
Yeah.
Yeah, or else put in parentheses carrot after that so that people know you're talking about the same thing in the next sentence.
Do I say carrot? Oh, I do. Okay.
Okay, so now it's asking me to. Here we go. So it's asking me to log in. First name, last name, email.
Now, if you do it here, we're golden. It's done. It's done forever.
So I put 5 Mark. Right, add a letter, email address. I'm done.
Yeah, then you're fine. And next time you come into another meeting, it's still gonna, or if it by chance automatically sends you in or gives you the draft, you're fine. The problem is if you get to the meeting without having done that, and you don't download the app on a PC, you can't change it. If you download the app on the PC, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you go into it and see what happens? Mark, see if it asks you to download an app, please.
Yep, hang on.
Monica, what kind of device do you use?
I use a Mac and an iPad and an iPhone.
I'm hoping you're fine on all of those. If you've registered once correctly or changed it once. And so the thing, as I'm saying this, I'm hearing it from myself, is once you get through this and you get to the bottom of it for each person, it should be fine. We're not going to go through this every meeting.
Yeah, I think we need to, because we've been hammering away at this, we need to have this really buttoned up so people don't wonder why we're redoing it over and over.
Well, yes, and that's why we're having a meeting today.
Yeah.
So where do you want me to look now? I'm in. I entered the name. So now I want to go to. Let's say go to the
Carrot and see what it picks up.
carrot at the bottom of the screen. Let's see if I have a carrot.
Wait, so you actually got in, Mark?
No, it's telling me the meeting starts in 2 days.
Did you download the app or not? Do you know?
No, I didn't want me to download it. No, I'm
No,
just doing.
I don't want you to. I just was
Yeah.
curious whether it did.
Yeah, so I'm not seeing the carrot or anything.
The carrot unless you
Unless you're in the meeting.
downloaded it.
Okay.
Either in the app or in the meeting. So, all right.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Which
Anyway.
device will you be using Monday night?
I've been using the iPad because it's the easiest and it's mobile.
You might just out of curiosity go in and complete the process there, because what Hector told me yesterday was when you enter the meeting on a PC, the app automatically downloads in the background. But
Okay.
that's what he told me. He may be giving me wrong information, but I asked him twice, and he said,
I can tell you it doesn't.
Yeah.
It didn't for me. And I used the PC in the meetings we set up.
Mm.
Okay, so back to
Okay, so Mike, what you're saying is I may now be registered for the meeting because it says you're registered. I got the town of Darien. You are registered.
right.
you're good. If you use the PC,
You can still go in on your iPad. You'll still get the email to all your devices, and you can still go in on your iPad if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what one you registered on. You'll get the email to all your, in your email to on every device, and you can go in from that device with
Gotcha.
that link from Kate that comes on Monday afternoon.
so but
Mike.
Mark, you're raising a really good point. So you're going to show up in a registered list that you're not going to actually record any votes or anything. So you will show up twice, once with your.
Oh no.
No, it's fine. It's fine because we have to allow for that. Do what you want. We will figure out how to straighten out the reporting later. And I think when we're in a meeting and we list attendees, it's only attendees. It's not anybody who registered. It's just the people that are showing up. So I don't
Right.
see it causing a problem, and you will not get duplicate polls because you're not in attendance.
Yep.
Okay. So
I got it. Yep.
good.
They do allow you, because I have done it, allow you to log in on multiple devices.
So I've done it too. Yeah.
Or you could get 2 polls if you were in, but you would be listed twice.
And I need to log in, Mike. I'm not gonna.
The attendee.
Right,
But
log in.
you can use the email that she sends on multiple devices simultaneously.
Yes, and that's one of the things that we need to look for. After we get done with this, we'll talk about what are we going to look for Monday night. Because anybody that's in twice, one of those things, like Jim Cameron does it for himself and he does it for TV 79, one of those should be marked as a presenter. Okay. And it gets us out of our issues. Okay, let's go back to this to make sure that this makes sense.
Lois, so just so I'm sure, if Mark should go into the meeting on Monday through the device he just registered the meeting for, he would then permanently have his name correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it would download the program automatically.
Well, the download the program is separate from the name. I don't know. what-
Yeah, I'm concerned that he doesn't see the carrot, because if he doesn't see the carrot, I don't know how someone who registers on there and doesn't change their registration and goes in, and we have this and they're on a PC and they go in and you just went in, Mark, and you don't see the carrot.
Nope.
So that was the thing, that if he's okay because he went in straight on the registration.
But I think that you have to have that. This only works for the name change on the PC if you've downloaded the GoToWebinar app.
No, it has to do with registration, which is one step before the app,
Well,
independent.
I'll go back in. I went out. I'll go back in again. Let's
But
see
this didn't show up on his computer. The carrot didn't show up on his PC.
The carrot is only needed if you want to change. If you want to change your name. If you get it straight going in, then you don't have to worry about changing your name.
You don't have to worry about changing it, but if you want to change it, it wasn't there.
Wasn't an option?
It
That's
wasn't an
true.
option.
That's true.
Right. And so, but if
Here's this statement, Mike. If this bottom info is unavailable, then change your first name the next time you register for a full RTM meeting. So if you're on a PC, not using an app, this is like X levels deep. PC, not using the app, and your name is wrong, then your name can't be changed until we come back to you. Go back and register with a blank registration, or you go in and change your email address.
So Lois, I would change that last sentence and say, while you are registering for the next RTM.
Okay,
Yeah, so Mike, I just went back in.
The next time, while you are, no, back, yeah. Next time, keep going, while, right there, put in while you are registering.
Can you download the app, Mark? Then you can delete it after.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to see if the caret shows up if you've downloaded the app.
do I have it, Monica?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's gonna ask me to register though.
I'm thinking of a different, rather than saying if this info below is unavailable, to if you do not see the information below on your PC, comma,
Instead of if this bottom information is unavailable.
you don't, yeah, if you don't see this information on your PC, below on your PC, comma, and then cut out this bottom info is unavailable, then
No.
I know. I hate the Mac sometimes. It's a problem of using a Mac and a PC at the same time. I do it all the time. If you do not see this information, if you do not see the information below, right?
on your PC,
Comma.
then you'll have to change. Then you will have to change.
Comma. The next time, comma. Oh, or okay, yeah.
I think I got it. Actually, the truth is, if you get to this point and you're still messed up, they need to call either you or me, Mike, because that's the only thing that's going to get them through it. But
Yeah.
can I put that? No. Should I put that in or just leave it alone? I'll just say it to general. If anyone has any concerns and questions,
Yeah.
call me, email me.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'll put it here somewhere.
I've created a mess here, Mike. It tells me I already have an account. And then, so of course, it's looking for my password, which of course I don't know. So now I'm stuck doing a password reset.
No, don't go there. Give up.
Just delete the app. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So I guess I did have an account, and how would I know?
The account's based on probably on your Mac. Mark.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I think it all ties into using an email address.
Yep. So it's tied into my Darien CT one.
Yep.
I made a mess of it. Okay.
No, that's what we've ended up all week this way.
Yeah, and that's why when we get to your explanation on Monday, it's very simple. We're overwhelmed by
Technology.
two separate apps with 3 different browsers with 7 different devices.
I don't want to do that. That'll scare the hell out of everybody.
But that's what
That
happens.
is the problem.
It's,
That is the issue.
why did it work the first time? Because GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar are 2 separate applications. The average person has 1.7 devices and 3 browsers. And when you add up all the permutations, there is not a one size that fits all change. It gets very complicated.
Mike, do I have the right email address? I'm not listening because I need to get this done.
Mike@MikeWheeler.net, right?
Okay. Does this help? Monica, do we have this good?
Yep.
Yes.
And I think some kind of an explanation, like Mike said, is a great idea.
Well, that's the point of speaking on Monday, but at the
Yeah.
end of this, we'll do that so I can focus if you don't mind.
It's very simple, you know, it really is very simple. The permutations, you know, are overwhelming, you know. It isn't like it took people an enormous amount of time to make the change the first time.
Hey, why is Lois's name a link and Mike's not?
I don't know, but I'll fix it.
Okay.
I've run into this before. It beats me what it does. And it may be, there it is. Okay, got it. It's fixed.
Okay. You're getting to be a whiz, Lois.
I know.
It's scary.
It's
Scary.
very scary. I can't.
I think we're gonna need to put you on the IT commission.
Cecil was laughing at me. It was really funny because my PC is in a different room, Mark, and it's on the floor. So I was running from room to room and standing and sitting, and it's like, really? And I was on the same meeting on both devices. So I could have moved it, but it helped me keep my head straight by which room I was in. Anyway, okay. So are we?
Cecil's wearing a mask because his wife's sitting behind him getting over COVID.
You couldn't make this stuff up. Seriously, if you tried to make things complicated, no one would ever create.
He made up some story about he had to walk the dog and had to leave.
Oh, come on. I believed him.
Yeah.
He didn't come back though. Anyway,
So,
and that was the second day in a row that we had done that to him. So anyway, so are we good for the name change on a Mac and name change on a PC?
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the other one, the other two. These are easy.
should
know-
we do the second one first?
Yes.
We can show them the easy one first, so they have their if they're in on their iPhone or iPad, they never have to see the.
Yes. I think.
You guys-
Maybe that should be our opener.
Yes.
If you want this easy and you have access to an iPad or iPhone, you
Or
may,
Mac.
or Mac. Maybe, that makes sense.
And here's a link to buy one if you don't.
And we get a commission, right?
Yeah, and
Money goes
yeah,
to the town. Money goes to the town.
goes to the subcommittee. Hey, here's an idea. Would
For our
it
donut budget.
would it be easier to read this if instead of having these directions in sentences, we had them as bullet points?
Yes. 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 Okay.
Yeah, both
So-
points
I won't
is
take your time to do that, but I will make them bullet points. Thank you.
a good idea. So it's still the idea of when people arrive, they're in a screen share and this will be there for them to scroll through.
The first thing it's going to say is look at your name. I mean, to see if you have to change it.
Right.
And so the first is look at your name, and then if you need to change it, then we have the instructions on the screen. And we're happy to answer questions. Right?
Yep.
And Mike, I think you talked about having Cecil answer the questions, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to run this by Cecil to make sure he's comfortable with this and that he's good. And no, Cecil can't answer questions and rotate these two screens. So we'll let him figure out how that should be done, whether somebody else should do it or he can do it automatically or whatever. Okay? So Mike, that goes on your Cecil list, please.
Yeah, we'll do a rehearsal Monday.
Okay, I'm happy to participate in the
You can
rehearsal.
go and log into the GoToWebinar and see functionally how what he can do, so the viewer wouldn't be able to move it themselves. It has to be moved by, so
A presenter.
a presenter has to move it.
And the question is, I mean, the other question is, and we'll get back to this, is whether
And Helen, I'm in a Zoom meeting.
whether a
Okay.
bunch of
Okay,
us
love
need
you.
to
Bye.
be on the meeting and on two devices, like you, me, Monica, Mark, whatever. And I don't know the answer to that, but that's a possibility. And the second one would make us as presenters. The other thing we found out is that you can't do chat unless you're a presenter. And the question, as an attendee, which is what all of us are, you can ask a question, but it's a question that goes to Cecil because he's monitoring questions. So I don't think so Kate can't directly chat with us is I think the bottom line on that from what we figured out. Correct, Mark? Hi, Mike?
Well, she can tell people their mics. Oh, she can open and close their mics.
She's verbally communicating to
But
the
she can't.
group.
Yeah, but she can't. On chat, she can't.
Right. But when we ask a question, it will go to Cecil and Kate and any of the other presenters probably also, if they're watching them, and they can respond. But we can't, if we're just attendees, we can't respond to any of the stuff or see other people's questions. So, and that's very different than GoToMeeting and Zoom, because chat and GoToMeeting and Zoom are set up so that you can watch the chat as it's going on. Well, it doesn't make sense. Oh, but I think you can watch the questions. I'm not sure. All right, we're not going there. We're not adding more confusion. Anyway, we're okay with this? These two, and I'll put this.
And you're gonna make them into bullets, right?
Yes, I'm gonna make them bullet and switch the order.
Yeah.
Unless you want your name first, Mike.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna save this and we're gonna go out of that and see how far along we are on save. Okay, got that. Where's my agenda? Okay, so does anybody have any questions on this? Are we all clear, as clear as we can be on what the story is?
As clear as we can be.
Thank you. That's all we can ask for. So for Monday night, Monday afternoon, Mike is going to work with Cecil, figure out what we want to do. So, all right, let me just make notes. Mike and Cecil, and then we're going to send out an email to RTM members with these instructions or not? Should we just hold the instructions till the meeting, or so what should the email in the afternoon say? Please come on early and check that your name is correct in this in the meeting list, and you will be able to correct it if it's not.
And we'll have instructions on how to correct it if it's not.
Okay.
So we would attach these instructions.
Well, that's a question.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think you do. So those who want to try to fix it,
Yeah.
and if you have trouble,
And say, we have had a number of technical challenges with, I'll write something up, but coordinating.
okay.
And it's the same thing it's the same thing you could say at the meeting. I'll write up
That'd be
three,
great.
but it's not going to be longer than 3 sentences. It's a very simple, it's a challenge, and thank you for helping us.
That's
Boom.
exactly the message. That's totally the message.
I'll write up something short.
I think that sentence is fine, right there. I think that's fine. I don't think you have to go more. But I think, Lois, if you're going to send out these instructions before,
Mhm.
maybe add, here are instructions. Don't worry, you might need to actually be in the meeting to change. There will be an opportunity if you sign in early. So people don't get
Good.
overly concerned if they can't fix it beforehand.
yeah, if you sign in 15 minutes or this, otherwise,
Right.
Many of us would sign in 1 minute early.
Well,
No.
I'm surprised as of 2 minutes ago, or 5 minutes ago, when I went to SurveyMonkey, 30 RTM members have not checked their email in the last 24 hours.
Or they haven't responded.
That's not surprising.
Oh, wait, can you tell whether they got it or whether they responded? Can you tell whether they opened
Well,
it?
but, or, I mean, it's one of those things where one question, do it now.
Yeah,
So they may have glanced at, well, maybe I'll do that later, but
Yeah.
they didn't go with ASAP or do it now.
we tried.
Oh, okay.
Mike-
You weren't
Mike,
saying
that,
they
I'm sorry.
access your email. So Mike, you can see if they responded, but you can't tell if they simply accessed their email.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see where they responded, and I can see the other 30, but they're grayed out, and I keep getting the pop up for $99. You can see these other. As soon as I sent it, I realized what I had done.
It's too bad they made it so much money, because if it would have been less, I would have.
Yeah, but I would have done it. Yeah, I would. $100 is what it cost. $20, I might have done it, but
Is it $100 for a year, $100 for a month? Or-
month,
That's,
the month.
Hey, Mike, the survey you sent out, did you send it out to one address per RTM? Or if you have more than one address, did you send it out to more than one address?
I cut and pasted from Lisa's list that she sent out.
which
Okay,
I think is.
So I didn't notice multiple email address, but I just cut and pasted from Lisa's last email where and then I put everybody in BCC. Well, you got the email, so you couldn't see all the other 99 addresses.
right, okay.
Lisa puts it in too, so that you can see everybody else's address, which helped me.
Right.
But I hate getting emails where I see 100 addresses before I get to what I'm supposed to look at.
Yeah.
Especially on a phone.
Okay, so we're set. So we have a sense on Monday. There'll probably be some more kinks. So watch your emails, please. For at least a standpoint of how we get people with their names on it, and understand that there may be a few that get down the chain, and there'll be a few that have to do it through registration. And the bottom line on that is, when you register, change your email, register your name, and the name changes, and then you can go back and re-register with your original email, and it's done. And I guess the important thing to do is, once we get the name straight, it's a one-time thing, but it may not. Well, eventually we'll get to. Hopefully, each of them will get to the place where it doesn't. You don't have to do it again. But some people, it may take a couple of shots depending on how they do it in that meeting. So, well, anyway, Mike's going to do some clever wordsmithing right here. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in a couple of minutes.
I think we're underestimating 90 of the 100. I really do. I think they're going to get this.
Yeah.
Without intervention.
I think so too. And I think even my sense is that the people that are on those committees that have already done it, if they're using a shared app, then it's going to be done already. Or if
Yeah.
somebody did it on a registration, it's going to be done already. So, and I know you spend 90% of the time on the 5% that are the exceptions, and that's the way technology goes. But you got to do it. So,
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So basically, I'll edit from basic what Mike says and use that as my talk. I will send it out to everybody ahead of time what I plan to say, so you can all edit, which I will appreciate, and it'll be short and sweet. And the point is to put a face behind, a group behind the name, behind the issue. So if anyone has questions, that's the point of doing it, and not confuse people. Just to know it's, here's where you go. We're all here. We're all doing this. We're with you. We get it. It's a pain in the ass. I can't say that, but anyway, that's the intent.
Like the other one we're going to get to when we did before the guy drew us the PC solution, we could not figure the PC solution. And so the speech was, it's easy on an iPhone, it's easy on an iPad, it's easier on a Mac. And if you're on a PC, you're shit out of luck.
Well, the funniest part about all this is it was me. I was the pain in the ass.
I forgot we're recording this.
Sorry.
Uh,
It was me, because I went on my PC and I do not download apps. So it's just really a fluke that we discovered this, or it's really the truth. I'm the pain in the ass that always fouls up people's stuff, because I do it my own way. So that is recorded, and hopefully nobody's watching. If not, I hope they're laughing. So that's the end of that story. So let's go on support plans for Monday night. So the idea, Monica, is that you will have your mic open, right?
Okay,
I'm going to write this down so I can confirm it with Kate, okay? Monica, mic open, and you're attendee. You're not going to be a presenter. Or do you want to be a presenter? No, you want the polling, so you want to be an attendee.
okay.
Okay. Do you want to be able to chat with them? Then you'd have to be on a second device. Do you want to do that or not? Or you want to think about it?
I'm going to be chatting with Kate and Cecil.
To do that, you're going to need to be on a second device.
And Seth or not Seth?
Seth is a presenter and he has an open mic. Seth, well, I do not think Seth should not be looking at the chat while we're in the meeting.
Okay, so it'd be just Cecil and Kate.
Yeah, it's too distracting. He needs to focus on the meeting.
And this is to give Kate the heads up to hold things up because someone's having a problem, someone's on twice, unknown person on,
Yeah.
right? Right.
Yeah, Cecil will follow up on questions and problems because the attendees will use questions and Cecil will be tracking questions. The thing is, if we find people that are in as attendees that should be presenters, Kate's supposed to be watching for them, Cecil's going to be watching for them, but I think we want to also. We can communicate with Monica through text. Okay.
Okay. And and I am supposed to be communicating with Kate then?
Kate and Cecil.
Yeah, and maybe you can do it as an attendee through questions, and maybe that is a question for how Kate would want it. Okay.
And if I do that as an attendee, does everybody see what I am sending her?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think.
And am I sending her? Am I texting her? Am I?
You know what? I'm gonna send an email to Kate. Do you think it would be nice to have like a 10-minute meeting with Kate on Monday to make sure we have this in sync?
Yeah, I want to make sure that I know what I'm supposed to be doing, what my goal is.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Is Monica's mic on?
Yes.
So if there's an issue with an unidentified party.
Doesn't go through the mic though. We don't want that out loud.
No.
The reason her mic is on is to make sure Seth's on track. And we haven't gotten off the agenda or we've missed something. Okay.
Right.
The making people presenters or attendees needs to happen electronically. We don't really want to announce that to the crowd. Okay.
I got it. Because that's how you, right. Okay.
And the question is, how does Monica communicate with Kate and Cecil without it being subject to everyone seeing? If the answer is simple, Monica uses questions as an attendee, then that's fine. If she needs to use chat, then she needs to come on 2 different devices. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I'm just anticipating. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, the reality is, okay, so I need to be able to communicate with Seth and Kate. Okay, the reality is when I communicate with Seth, I check in with him before the meeting, and then I say, watch your phone. And if something's going on, I text him.
Okay.
And that so far has worked.
Okay.
Instead of interrupting him or disrupting the flow of the meeting, let's put it that way. So I need to know exactly what I'm looking for to be communicating to Kate.
I would think the things you're looking for on that is people that should be changed from attendee to presenter.
Okay.
And that whoever wants to will watch the list, because we can all see the attendee list, and send it to you. So you know if one of us, or send it on a group text. So we know somebody's checked it, but we will not be communicating with Kate, only you.
Okay. So I think a group text is great so that we all know Joe Schmo, was noted.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And the point of all of this is so that Kate does not send them a ballot. Okay. And we're not having, the first motion to vote on is.
Isn't the minutes? Don't we vote on the minutes?
Yeah, that's after accepting the agenda. Yeah. So roll call, we're not doing any kind of roll call. So the third item would be the first vote, which is pretty quick. Okay.
And we get into any more detail on voting. Remember,
we're going executive session.
We're moving it if we get any deeper.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Okay, so really we're pretty straight. So the only question for Kate is to Monica, how you best communicate with her during the meeting, and whether it's using questions or do you need a second device?
Okay.
Or text. I mean, maybe that's what she'll want.
Yeah,
So maybe that's a very straightforward question, and I'll draft it, get you to approve it, and then I'll send a copy you to Kate. Maybe we don't need to meet with her. We can just do that. That got it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got that. Then the last point on all this is the access by all RTM members. I know one member in particular that was having a problem. Two members in particular that we knew were issues were taken care of. I have one that I'm going to go back on Monday. If anyone hears of anything, of anybody that's got a problem, let us know. Cecil's been very helpful in getting this solved. We've all worked with whatever. And I've sent that message to Don and Lisa and a couple of other people I've talked to. If anyone is having trouble with technology, let us know and let us solve it. And the bottom line on that, if somebody's using a landline phone, they're gonna have to vote verbally.
okay,
And as long as Kate knows that, that'll happen.
Yeah, and she can open their mic because on at least, well, I don't know on a landline, because on a iPhone you can't open your mic, so you have to indicate, you have to raise your hand to be noted so that they can open your mic. You can't do it from your device.
But if you're on an iPhone, you should be able to vote, right?
You get the poll,
Right.
but yeah, you get the poll. But if you wanted to say something,
Then you have to raise your hand.
you have to raise your hand. And just like the thousands of webinars that we've attended over the years, they want to control, when they have 1,000 people on it, they got to control people breaking in.
Okay. So are we good for Monday now?
Yeah.
Can't believe this, but yeah.
I think so.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, everybody. This has been long and
What
short.
time to go cross-country skiing?
No, not yet. But anyway, but there's more, a couple other pieces. The issue of the mailing of warnings, resolutions, status, and should we do a survey discussion? The bottom line on this is that Frank's group is looking at changing, proposing an ordinance change. The RTM, the Rules Committee is discussing whether or not we want to consider the ability to, I think, opt in or opt out on warnings and resolutions being mailed. That everybody, Lisa's fine sending them electronically to everybody. No big deal. The town clerk is or the town clerk's office is fine doing it if the RTM Rules Committee decides they want it. If we want to do it, we can change the ordinance. It's really up to rules on what we want to do.
There is one subtlety of what I think Lisa said in the second conversation, which is everyone's going to get it electronically, whether they want it or not.
Yes.
And the background materials are posted on the website.
Well, I would like to propose that the background materials get sent out electronically too, but that's a rules discussion.
But so if someone wants to say, I want to get the mail, they can opt in for getting the mail, but they will continue to get it electronically.
Okay. This is something that we would implement for the next cycle, correct? That's what was that the general consensus?
Yeah.
This would be something people would note on their preference sheets?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have until November to figure this out. Okay.
We could also implement it sooner. That's up to rules, but we'll definitely, as a follow-on, easy to make it happen. It will be part of the preference sheets, and Lisa loved that idea. So I don't remember which of you opened that idea, but I thought it's great. So thank you. Okay. And well, this is a rules question: is should backup materials be emailed or not? That it has nothing to do with us. That's a decision that rules can make. Agreed?
Agree.
Well, rules didn't make the decision apparently that they wouldn't be mailed.
I know, but if we're going to ask them to be mailed, I think that's the route we need to go.
Right.
Not mailed, emailed.
Yeah, email, but we didn't make that decision.
I know. It's a surprise to all of us. Well, also the minutes haven't been emailed, but that I'm changing. I have a request into that. We all talked about that. I have a request into Seth to get that changed.
Yeah.
But that's more of I don't see that as an issue. At least I think that'll be fine. Okay. Online access to email names and other Connecticut towns. If you don't mind, I'd like to meet next Saturday and we can talk about that. I researched all the other 6 or 7 RTMs on other towns. Everybody's doing something different. I want to do it. I want to present it when I've got it all organized and we can talk about it and figure out. So next Saturday, assuming everybody can make it, we can talk about how we want to talk about that issue in the rules meeting, which will be the
Okay.
following Monday. Okay.
Great idea.
Anything else? Any other issues? Do we need to discuss anything further that we want to go into executive session for?
There's nothing controversial on Monday night that we're gonna have to worry about anything.
Okay. Then can I have a motion to, anyone else? The last chance. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thanks, everybody. Enjoy. Really great committee, great job, great work, and appreciate
Thanks,
everybody's
Lois.
job.
Thanks for leading us.
See you Monday
Okay.
night.
Okay, if not before, Mike. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye,
You
everyone.
too. Good luck, Mark.